Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Trying some new things here. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell as it prompts you in your bottom right hand corner, right? We're going to get this together. Let's talk about Nvidia. Let's talk about the aftermath. And let's talk about other areas where I see there's buying opportunities. Okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live last night. So now after earnings, okay, we can see that Nvidia has been falling off. It just has been falling off. Let's bring it up here. Here we go. Boom. All right. So let's just go to Nvidia, NVDA. And let's see where we're at right now. It's not looking good. 117, let's just call it 118, right? So we're down 6% again today. So you've been having this seesaw, this whipsawing, right? Now, you're asking yourself, should I have gotten out last night? Only you can answer that question. You're asking yourself, should I buy right now? Only you can answer that question. Anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. I'm just showing you what Larry is doing. You guys know that I am a long still on Nvidia. As a matter of fact, with all of this bad news going on, Nvidia, right? It was priced to perfection. Nvidia actually killed it last night. Killed it. It was a beat, and it still went down because the amount of earnings is decreasing as their expenditures go up, with the launch of their new products. But like I just said, they are going to launch a lot of new products. Listen to this, good people.
Wall Street analysts coming out in defense of Nvidia. JP Morgan's Harlan Sur raising his price target by 35% to 155 a share, writing that while Blackwell shipments are pushed out as we expected by about 2 months, we do not believe this has an impact to the overall 2024-2025 revenue profile, as that void has been backfilled with Hopper, its current GPU. Morgan Stanley also positive, raising its Nvidia target to 150 from 144, though acknowledging that the supply-demand imbalance should persist for the next few quarters. B of A also with a raise, advising investors to ignore the quarterly noise. And Wells Fargo upping its forecast, saying it's hard to really find negatives in the results. The average price target for Nvidia now has risen by 3.8% since Nvidia reported earnings. Barclays' Tom O'Malley is sticking with a hold rating. He thinks the stock reaction is factoring a change in narrative rather than what he believes is likely just conservative guidance. But a lot of discussion around Nvidia's gross margins, as you guys were just discussing. In fact, when Nvidia's CFO, Colette Kress, answered Bernstein's Stacey Rascon's question on the earnings call on gross margins likely going to the mid-70s due to higher expenses tied to Blackwell, that is when we saw the stock take a dip lower by as much as 8% in after-hours trade. Of course, now we've seen shares recover down just about 3% right now.
Of course, that was this morning, and it is further down now. Nvidia is, and it's not going to be a straight line up, good people. Nvidia is not going to be a straight line up. As you can see, all of these banks are upping their target after it fell off after a actually good earnings. It was a good earnings, though some people think it was boring. It was good. They're winning, but not by as much, right? And so a win is a win, I believe. And I'm looking at the future of Nvidia. They still have a moat around it. Yes, there's companies, they are facing pressure in China, like we discussed on yesterday's video. All right. And then you got companies like Taiwan Semi. But Nvidia is still the lead. It's still the lead. Now, there are other chips that you could get into and make some money. As a matter of fact, someone in the Discord took advantage of something I said. If you could read that right there. I talked about SMCI on last night. This person watched the video, and as you can see, they made some money. Look at that. Look at that. So, hey, congratulations, right? That was in the Discord. right? And so when I talk and I say, hey, there's other areas for us to make money, I want you guys to really take note of that, okay? So let's keep it moving.
Harsh Kumar joins us now. He has a buy rating on Nvidia with a $140 price target. Harsh, maybe give us more of the medium to longer term view. I mean, it's hard to pick apart this quarter anything really, disappointing. But when you look out to 25 and 26, do you think that this demand is going to be sustainable?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show. We absolutely love the positioning for NVIDIA, and we think, we are telling people to buy the stock at the open on any kind of weakness and hold it for the long term. This is one of those unique companies that can have wings that basically take it for a pretty awesome growth rate through 25 into 26 and even beyond. The fact of the matter is that there's, Jensen says there's $1 trillion worth of old data centers that need to be converted to GPUs and a similar number of upcoming data centers. That's where your demand's coming from. In terms of the weakness last night, I was really surprised when the stock was down $8 or even $10 at a point in time. But I think those were concerns around the gross margin, like you guys were discussing in the program just before I came on. I don't think those are valid. You have to understand NVIDIA is ramping 4 brand new products simultaneously for high output. They've never done this before. These are new supply chain, new parts, and they're not ramping for cost efficiency just yet. They'll do that in 3 to 4 quarters and margins will settle out again. We think the law of large numbers will kick in. NVIDIA has been able to grow 100% plus for several quarters now. It's hard to grow when you're a 100 billion plus company at 100% a year. So I think that those numbers will come down, but the magnitude of those numbers will be still better than anything you can find anywhere in the hardware or software space.
So remember on last night when I said I believe it's going to get back to where it was before, which is a local high of 140. So now the gentleman just said he believed that was his price target. So if we take from where it is right now and go up to 140, we're talking about a 20% increase from where it is right now. 20%. That's a lot. And we could be there by November, right? I know there's other price targets, 150, 170s, but I'm just looking at just getting back to a local high of 140 for Nvidia myself, right? So I believe in it long term. Like I said, I'm in this for 7 to 10 years. So these prices 7 to 10 years from now are going to look real good for right now. But I do believe wholeheartedly that we will get back to the 140, right? But it's not going to be a straight line up. There's going to be consolidation. The market is still deciphering all of this information. You can go into the earnings call and see the areas of concern, but they have 4 new products coming out. And yes, when you have new products, you have a spin, right? So that's going to hit your bottom line, but it was still a great earnings. And so I just believe that this is just a whipsaw, an overreaction, like this gentleman said, a knee-jerk reaction. And it just takes time and patience, right? Let me know what you're doing. If you're panicking, I understand. It didn't look good when my stock did what it did. I'm gonna show you what I did in that swing trade, like I did on the live last night. So last night on the live, I showed where I was down by 2.88. It actually went down by 3%. So at the bottom, I believe I was down by about 13 or 1400 bucks. But this morning, when I was actually up. I was actually up about 800 bucks this morning, right? But what I did was set a stop loss, and of course, it triggered, right? So made a little money, but as you can see, it was a lot of money. This was a swing trade. Instead of me doing options and risk losing it all, I decided to put cold hard cash in. Now, this is my swing trade. This is not my main portfolio where I am up extremely nice this year alone, okay? And so that's enough that I'm up. Even though it's down, I'm still up enough to buy a nice brand new car, right? This is not braggadocious. This is just to show you guys it's never a good idea to panic. It's just not, right? Be careful and realize that if you have your money in a good company, then you don't have to panic. Okay. So let's look at an area that I think that there's opportunity. Pay as you go. If you remember that I talked about this about a month ago, pay as you go in small caps. IWM is an ETF. IWM is one of the stock that I've been buying, and it's doing well. Okay. But let's look at some small caps. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a portfolio that I have. Let's see if we can pull that up. Okay. I want you guys not to mimic me or follow me. I want you guys to do your own due diligence, and I want you to just look, okay? Just look at what could, where there's opportunity. Right, so there's definitely opportunity here. And as we could see here, as I put my glasses on, Square, all right? Square is one of the ones that I added to. You could see now I snapped this a little earlier. It could be a little higher, a little lower. But today alone, Square was up by 6%, right? And you could see to the right there, total gains where I am. SoFi I've had for a little while. As you can see today alone, 7%. Now let's go down to the bottom, Affirm. You guys see that? That is insane. 33% today alone that it's up. Affirm, all right? Affirm knocked it out of the park too. Of course, you can see DraftKings, I'm down, right? And so you got to take the losses with the wins, okay? And then I'm getting back in the Cleveland Cliffs. But you could see up in the top, the yellow, cash. What do I have? Dry powder, dry powder. Now, I may pull back on this whole portfolio. I want you guys not to mimic this, but to see that you can start to rotate in some of these. And these are small caps. These are, you got to look at stuff like IWM, all right? And which is a ETF. Let's pull it up. IWM. It is a small cap ETF. And if you don't want to pick individual stock, you can begin to pull up and buy the overall ETF. You see that? Look at that. It's doing well. Look at the month. Not so much. So we're up about 7% right now over the last 6 months. But now is the time to start accumulating. Okay? Start. That doesn't mean dump all your money in. It means bite-sized pieces, dollar cost average from here until the Fed starts lowering interest rates. And the more he lowers, the better these perform, because these are small companies that don't have access to cash because it's too expensive. It's too expensive because the rates are too high. And when the Fed starts to decrease interest rates, these smaller companies, these small cap companies will start to perform better because they don't have like Nvidia 20% to reinvest in R&D, right? It takes capital. And so that's why these small caps, which our guy thinks that this has about a 40% upside, Tom Lee. I'm not going to play that video for you, but Tom Lee thinks that IWM and all of the small cap that is in it has a 40% upside this year. Now, just remember, we're going into September. We're going into the worst month. I can tell because my allergies are kicking my butt. All right. And September is usually the worst month. But what follows that? November, which is generally a good month. So save some dry powder to buy in September. I'll be buying more Nvidia in September. And then we will take some profits, hopefully, after the election in November. And then we have something else we need to talk about, but we'll talk about that a little while. We'll talk about that. You know what? I got to talk about this too, good people. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Let me get this in because I want you to have the full-on lineage of when to buy and when to sell. Just look at that, good people. Warren Buffett sells almost $1 billion of Bank of America. You see that? You can see that right there. I don't even want to play it, right? So he sells off $1 billion worth banks, and it makes sense. Why? Because banks were making money when the interest rates were high. Now they're going to start to make less money. So that's rotation. But he also sold half of his Apple, right? Then he purchased more T-bills than the federal government, right? Then he buys Alta. What is Alta? Alta is a play you get in heavy when you think a recession is coming. Now, is the recession coming and when is it, Larry? I can't tell you that. All that I know is that, look at that. Alta's up 7% today alone, right? And so we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared for the worst. So here's what I think is going to happen. September is going to be a bad month like it normally is. November is going to be a good month, which means that you could have bought in September and sold in November, right? And then I think the biggest fear for recession will be Q1 of 2025. But I don't think it's going to be the mother of all recessions. I don't think it's going to be as deep or as long as 2008, like the rest of these fearmongers do. I'm sorry. That's what I see, some of them. And I just believe that it will present a buying opportunity. Okay, good people. Listen, one last thing, good people. Look, for those of you that downloaded Moo, listen, listen, it's the end of the month, Saturday, right? So someone told me, and I do the same thing, I've been getting 8.1 a month. I'm sorry, 8.1, not a month. I've been getting 8.1 on my money just sitting in the account, the money that I'm not investing with Moo, right? And so I have a pile of money in there getting 8.1% fixed, okay? Before that, we were getting 5.1. Now it's been 8.1 for the last few months, right? So now what you need to do is make a deposit. Just opening up the account doesn't guarantee you the free stock, okay? And it doesn't guarantee you the 8.1. So you got to deposit at least $100, if not $1,000, but at least $100 so you can get the 8.1%. Here's the goal, good people. Do that today. And if you are one of the ones that did it, then make sure you fund it today. All right. All right. We're going to leave it right there. It was a lot to cover. I probably covered too much, but I want you guys to have as much information as possible. I'll try to timestamp this at some point. OK, so make sure you check out Moo today. And then tomorrow we'll talk about the class Stock Up You. But today it's about Moo. Let's get those accounts funded. All right. And they may call you. They randomly call some people. So if you get a call from Moo, don't freak out. It actually is them, right? Let me know if this has been helpful. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and please don't fall for any spam in the comment section. Never send money or crypto to anyone, even if they say they are me. I am verified with a check. Love you guys. We may see you tomorrow. Live, love, laugh, and learn.